We're going to do a garden variety sit-up on an incline board. What I'm going to try to do with this exercise is to take the hip flexors out of the motion. When you do a sit-up, the hip flexors, the iliopsoas muscles, and the abdominals work together. So there's no harm in training them together because they function together. But if we want to really isolate the abdominals and just work the abs, because the converse can happen too much if you don't at least control some of the hip flexors. They can get really strong and the abs don't get much. So we're going to do the opposite. So she's just going to do a regular sit-up, and the pelvis is allowed to move. As she comes back, the pelvis is allowed to move. And so that's when the hip flexors, these muscles that come right here, come into play. So all I'm going to do, it's as simple as this. I want to have you lay back, tuck all your butt underneath, scoot under, and I'm going to put one hand right on these bones in the front of her hip. And I'm going to push down and hold her pelvis completely still. Now do a sit-up, and her pelvis can't move. Again, good. And I keep this from engaging any hip flexor at all, and this is 100% abdominal. There's no other muscles that can help her make this motion. That's the only things that can help. Go ahead and sit up, rest. So there's a super simple, quick exercise. Takes two people. I guess somebody could call this a crunch. I don't like to call it a crunch because crunches are traditionally ineffective exercises. This is very, very effective. So it looks like I'm doing a crunch maybe, but it's not. You're actually trying to sit up and someone is forcing your pelvis to stay flat against the pad. So let's go over the initial position again. And just so, I forgot to mention one thing. So go ahead and lay back. And in the initial position, tuck the hips under. And what should be happening right now is her low back, instead of being arched, it should be flat. And that's kind of important. So now I'm going to keep these hips down. Her low back stays flat against the pad, and she's going to do sit up. And that's about as far as she can come, because that's what the abs do. That's all they do. There you go. Fine. Relax. So I forgot to mention that the first time through. That's a very simple way to really get a lot of good abdominal exercise, and everybody can use more abs. So give this a shot. Thanks for listening.